So, I'm Stuart Mitchell. I'm the Chief Executive of OneView Commerce. What we do, and this is I'm going to give you the helicopter view now, so all those who just came for the pre-show drinks can then leave. So what we do is we sell technology for stores. So store technology, that's the first key point there, which is highlighted, in-store technology. Important point about our technology is we deliver it over the cloud. Now, in terms of delivering to enterprise retail retailers, we're the first of a kind. It's cloud-based. And the third point is really the seamless shopping experience across all channels. Sounds like a bit of jargon, and it is. But what that really means is it's omni-channel. So what we deliver is a solution that links both the retailers' bricks and mortar stores with their online to create a seamless shopping experience, so that the retailer can see customers' orders, inventory seamlessly across all channels, and hence our name OneView, which was coined because I came up with this brilliant idea when we founded the business that the retail solution provider that would win the day is the one that would provide this one view of orders, inventory, customers, etc. across all shopping channels. And that's what we do today, and I'll explain how we do it shortly. So a little bit of background about the company. We were founded in 2011 by myself and Linda Palanza, who's the COO, and she sends her apologies. She can't be here tonight. She's actually down under trying to win a bit of business down there. And if she was, she'd probably be doing the presentation. And she's a little bit more attractive than myself in doing so. We were founded in 2011. Initially what we started to do was we were reselling a legacy traditional point of sale solution in North America. We were funded, it's a private company funded by angel investors, people who'd made money with me previously. And then in 2012 we moved away from the reseller business to start to build our own solution. And our own solutions were released to the market in January 2014. I'll say that again, January 2014, that's only 3.5 years ago. And when you see what we've achieved in that 3.5 years, I think you'll be quite astonished. And last point, corporately, we reversed into a company called Armour Group in March of last year. That was a funding deal, it was a cash shell, and the gentleman who controlled Armour was one of our shareholders within OneView, so it was a funding deal for us. In terms of locations, obviously we're now listed on AIM, and so we have office in London, but most of our people are in the operating headquarters in Boston. We have 50 people on staff, and we have another 20 offshore developers. They're not employees, they work for a third-party consultancy. So that's kind of the shape of the company today. Management, a few years ago that photograph was taken of me, but anyway. So my background is finance. I actually came to this country working for a New Zealand entrepreneur called Ron Briley, and ran his money over here. That was in the 80s. Moved on and was CFO of 2 fully listed public companies here in London. The last of which was, sorry, hit the wrong one. I was trying to hit the one, the pointer one. What have I done wrong here, Rachel? There we go. Yeah, so ESB was a retail software company. I joined them in 2000, so I've had 17 years in this space. Linda, on the other hand, has been in software all her life. She started as a developer and moved into services and service delivery, and now is the visionary of the company. And as you can see, the other two in the team have got many, many years in the retail technology space as well. So what's happening in retail, and why did we build the platform we have? Well, the first point is just a general point. Retail is still growing very, very strongly. I mean, as the populations grow richer throughout the world, retail globally is growing strongly. And our solution plays globally. But the important trend in retail is really one of the influence of e-commerce, the influence of online, the influence of mobility on the way we shop. So today, still 90% of retail is sold in the store. So the store is not dead. You'll hear people talking about the store being dead. It is not, absolutely not dead. E-commerce is growing, and it will continue to grow, will continue to build. But the big influence of online is really in the fact that we research things before we go into the store, and that is the biggest influence of online. In fact, 50% of purchases in the store today are influenced by online research first. So the store is not dead, we play in the store. The problem for the retailer, though, is that as e-commerce and mobility grow, their technologies are siloed. So you have a store technology, which is 20 years old. You have an e-commerce solution, which is 5 years old. And the two don't work together, they don't talk to each other. And that siloed technology creates a major problem for the retailer. So what we've done is we've addressed these trends and come up with some solutions. So what do we do today? First point is we have a fully functioning point of sale solution. So it can run, a store could run John Lewis, it could run Target in the US, whatever. It's a fully functioning point of sale solution. It can run either on the fixed tills or on tablets. Okay, so built for mobility. Now that's really very, very important because without a POS in the store, your stores are dead. The retailer is dead. So that's the building block. What we've done is on the POS we've built an integration layer to the retailer's e-commerce. So what this enables the e-commerce solution to do, if you're sitting at home, you're doing a click and collect, you decide, okay, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to go and pick it up from the store, you click. We have an integration layer that sits on the e-commerce site that takes that message then, takes it down to the store, puts it on the POS. The associate can see that you're coming in tomorrow to pick up your new trousers or whatever it might be, and they can prepare the order. They can also look out and find things for suggestive selling. With these trousers, this new check shirt looks great, etc. And so, getting back to the point about the omni-channel, so this is the way we've delivered omni-channel, is through that integration layer with the retailers at e-commerce. Now, that's all well and good, but we also found that unless you've got a very accurate picture of your inventory across all stores, you can't actually deliver that the omni-channel experience, because what happens if you're in store X, somebody comes and says, I'd love this, the associate looks it up and finds it in store Y, places an order for it in store Y because it says it's got two in store Y, but in fact somebody else has just come in and bought those two. So inventory within retail is typically not real time. So we've developed a real-time store inventory module as well to supplement the POS. We've also built a promotions module because initially we were going to use the promotions module from e-commerce, but we found that it wasn't robust enough in the store, so we've built those as well. So that's what we do. So POS, integration to e-commerce, inventory and promotions. So how does that make us different from the rest? Firstly, our solutions are all built on the most modern technologies. There's a slide a little later that looks at our competitors, and you'll see that most of them are older companies that their technologies in store are 20, 30 years old. Building on most modern technologies gives us a huge advantage because it's flexible, it's adaptable. We can actually make changes far more quickly than the legacy providers. Secondly, our solution was built for mobility. So as I said, it can run on fixed tills. It can also run on tablets. Most of the other solutions won't do that. They will find a way of putting it on a tablet, and we call it lipstick on a pig because that's exactly what it is. They were never built for mobility. Very important point. What we do is we deliver over the cloud. So we host our retailers solutions. Now, it is first in kind for enterprise retail, the cloud delivery, and it's been a great new revenue stream for us. We deliver the seamless omni-channel experience, as I've explained. And the other point is that our solution is enterprise grade. We play in the big retail space. There are people that, there are solutions, and you'll see them in a minute, built on modern technologies, mobile, etc. But they play in the little onesie twosies. We don't play in that market. We play with the big retailers. So it's enterprise grade, and it is first of kind in enterprise. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. So when you look at this in 3.5 years, these are the clients we've won. Starting with the first was Telefonica, E+ in Germany, where we did a cross-channel solution for them. We got them up and running within six months. Discount Tire in the US is they're the largest tire and wheel retailer in the world, and I'll come back and just chat about them in a bit more detail in a minute. Travis Perkins Wicks, you all know the Wicks stores. We're about to go live in their stores with the point of sale solution. So when you go in there, you'll find that the tills will actually run and they won't be falling over as they have been. O2, we did a model office, a proof of concept with them, working with Cognizant and Hybris, and regrettably that didn't lead to a further large contract, and I'll chat about that shortly. Two others, smaller businesses, Molton Brown, you'll know. This has got 60 stores based here in the UK. We're in user acceptance testing with them. And most recently, a couple of months ago, we signed Carhartt, which is it's actually a large workwear manufacturer, 150 years old, out of the States, and they're just actually building their store estate now. They've only got 30 stores, but it's growing quite quickly. If we look at Discount Tire, and I just want to give you a quick case study of what we've done for Discount Tire, so that you kind of get how it works. So, the Discount Tire, imagine you're sitting at home, you need some new tyres, right? You're going to order these 4 new tyres, you go onto their site, you order it, and you also book an appointment to come in at 2:30 tomorrow, whatever it might be. A message is sent down to the location, picked up by the tablet, our tablet, at that location. So coming in 2:30 tomorrow. In the meantime, what it'll do is send an instruction to get the tyres out of the bay, put them ready for you to arrive. When you arrive, you'll be greeted, the guy with the tablet, and he'll say, look, I've got an idea here, perhaps this tyre is better for you. He will have taken the opportunity to check your tyres that they are correct before you arrive, maybe come up with some suggestions, try and upsell you. He will, the solution will then create what we call a customer service list, which is essentially a works order. And the works order will tell the bay how to rotate the tyres, will tell the bay how to lift the vehicle. Lifting a vehicle in tyre business is critical. You've got to lift it at the right place, because if you don't, you know, they often get sued for lifting the vehicle and damaging it. So and that's all done, encompassed in our solution. The work will be done on the vehicle, will get through to the end, and then the customer will be presented with his bill through the point of sale functionality on the solution. So we are about to go into pilot with Discount Tyre, and I think it's a game changer. It's going to make the Apple store look antiquated. It's a fantastic bit of kit. So that's Discount Tyre. It's a big company. It's actually 5.5 billion in revenue. It's a private company. Big company. So I talked a little bit about our solution. I talked about the legacy and traditional solutions. And just to give you a quick snapshot of the competitive position. So over on the far left-hand side there are the larger legacy players. So a company like PCMS, which is based up in Coventry. Aptos, which was a company that I used to work for, was called NSB in those days. GK Software, which is partly owned by SAP. They all selling 20-year-old POS, and it is really, really hard for them to compete with us with the new modern technology. Down the bottom, you may know Sanderson. It's a UK company. They play in the small merchant space. We typically don't play in that space. NetSuite owned by Oracle now, Nextdoor owned by Oracle. They're relatively strong competitors in the cloud omni-channel at the enterprise grade level. And then I think, Rachel, where did you say I pushed for the? Oh, it's one here, isn't it? Yeah. And so these guys down here, Shopify, Lightspeed, etc. They're small modern technologies that play in the little onesie twosie coffee shop type retailers. But we believe, you know, we are positioned the strongest in enterprise cloud omni-channel. So how do we sell? We have three acquisition channels. So the ISVs, independent software vendors, we're very close to both IBM and SAP. We integrate with Hybris, and that was really the genesis of our integration model. So we integrate with Hybris. That's the SAP e-commerce solution. We have integrated with WebSphere, the IBM e-commerce solution, and actually at Molton Brown we're integrating with Oracle's ATG. So we have the integration layers all built, and the ISVs have tended to generate leads for us. Our system integrators are really stepping up to the mark as well. So these are people that we will give implementation work to. They're stepping up to the mark in terms of lead generation for us, and we'll talk about the pipeline a little later. A lot of the pipeline comes from these system integrators, and we have we have a relatively small direct sales team of 8 people, and one of the reasons that we raised money a couple of months ago was to further invest in the sales channel, in the direct sales channel, which we need to do. So recent developments, as I said a little earlier, we commenced development of the product in 2012. We released it to the market in 2014, January. 3.5 years. You saw the customers we've got. it's really quite extraordinary. But actually the pace of change has increased a lot more over the last 12 months. So in July 2016, we announced our first hosting deal, which was with Wix. Since then, we've closed 3 further hosting deals. We closed the deals with Carhartt, we closed the deal with Molton Brown, and most importantly, we converted Discount Tire from an on-premise model to a hosted deal, and that was our largest contract yet, and it's many millions of dollars over 5 years. What that's done, and important thing, those that have been in the software business know the annual recurring earnings are what a software business is all about. Selling one-time licenses is great, but it's the recurring revenues that really drive value and drive shareholder return. And so the annual recurring earnings now exceed $3 million. When you think about it, this time last year it was $450,000. I mentioned, I talked a little bit about a fundraising a couple of months ago. So in July, we recapitalised the business with a $9 million capital injection. It was $5 million of new equity and $4 million of debt, which was converted into equity. And at the same time, Michael Jackson, who was the founder and chairman of Sage, joined our board as chairman. Revenue model. We our focus now is on hosted business, and in fact, all of our prospects that we're pitching to today, we're selling a hosted model, and that's typically an annual fee payable up front, and ideally a 5-year term, but 3 years if we can't get 5. So that's where we're heading. We did have an on-premise model earlier with a one-time license fee and annual support. We don't offer that any longer, although Wix and Discount Tire both were on-premise customers initially before converting to hosting. And the implementation services are generally 1 to 2 times the license fee. Finances. We think we've been really efficient with finance. We've achieved what we've achieved and very, very little money at all. We raised $3 million in 2 tranches initially when we were a private company, another $3.5 million by the reverse into Armour. That's 6.5, and then the $9 million of equity recently, so it's 15.5. I think we've accomplished a huge amount with very little capital. Current trading. The revenues for the year, we're a March year in, revenues for the year to March 17 were disappointing at $3 million. They had been $8 million the previous year. The reason for that was the O2 business, which I mentioned, which we had every right to expect that would convert into a £6 million contract. It didn't, and that came out of our March 17 year end. And the balance sheet now, you'll see, done it again, sorry. The balance sheet at last reporting date showed a $1.5 million deficit, but that's now $7.5 million to the good with the $9 million recap that we did a couple of months ago. Pipeline is looking extremely strong. It's in excess of $25 million. If you compare it to the pipeline this time last year, it's incredibly better, incredibly stronger. There are a number of large Tier 1 opportunities that are progressing quite well, and we're actually finding we're being inundated by RFPs and RFIs, and it's quite hard to keep up. Partners are making many referrals, as I referred to earlier. So, in summary, I've got 2 minutes, so I'm going to talk slowly.
We'll do some questions.
Yeah, I know, yeah. So, in summary, it's fast-growing enterprise technology space. Pipeline is growing internationally. The annual recurring earnings are increasing. it's a global business. We have really strong customer references. That's really important. You know, our customers are all very, very strong references. Multiple and attractive potential exit strategies. There'll be lots, whether it be IBM, SAP, or lots of others that are interested in us. And we're well positioned with strong partners.